welcome to another meeting of Toastmasters Mercury. First of all, I would like to welcome every single one of you in our meeting today, whether you've attended before or you're attending right now, and I hope you really enjoy the meeting as much as we do. Now, before we start the meeting, I would like to remind you of the 3 rules that we have, and that is, in Toastmasters, we try to provide a very friendly atmosphere for everyone to learn how to become better speakers and leaders. So it is important to talk about topics that do not offend anyone or doesn't disturb this friendly atmosphere. So here at Toastmasters, we've made it a choice to avoid talking about politics, sex, or religion, just to make sure that everybody here is happy and are willing to learn and grow as speakers and as leaders. So let us start this meeting right now. On Tuesday, the 4th of August, it was just another normal day for every single Lebanese, including me. I called Diana because I was sick. I told her if she could fill up for my role today in the coming Toastmasters meeting that day. And I decided to go visit the Room Hospital to get tested because, you know, these days, in the time of COVID-19, you cannot be unsure. You have to always make sure that you don't have COVID. So I went there to get tested, and luckily, the hospital, the laboratory was closed. So they told me to come the next day. I went back home, and 30 minutes later, the explosion happened. And you know the rest. Now, to be honest, the explosion was very scary to the point that that night I didn't sleep in my room. I slept in the living room. But thank God that I lived far away enough from Beirut so that my house wasn't really damaged, the people around me weren't injured, and the people I know were safe. But that doesn't make things less tragic and less scary. But to be honest, the thing that happened after the explosion was the thing that scared me more than that explosion. And that's because I realized that the explosion was just a result of what happened next. In the light of the destruction that was in Beirut, the deaths that were around us, the injured people, the government didn't really have any crisis management plan. And that was very scary indeed. Who was going to fix everything? But thank God, the next day, the exact next morning, people were in Beirut, gathered to help one another, to support one another. And that is one very great thing, to be honest, because today in Lebanon, we all know that every single Lebanese person is suffering, and we really don't have a lot. What we have is we have COVID, we have a great inflation, we have a corrupted government, yet the people decided to give everything they have, even if it was very little, even if it was just to offer food, to offer shelter, to clean the streets, to donate, to spread news and talk to people. They've did everything to help one another, and they've shown great leadership skills. That is the faith that I have in the country. Lebanon has the asset of great human beings who will rebuild this country into greatness from the ashes of destruction. And that's why, as Toastmasters, we found that we should suspend all of Toastmasters activities for a while, because it really doesn't matter to be part of this organization if you do not help when people need you. It is our job as leaders to help our community and to help our loved ones become better and feel better and build this country from all of the destructions. We need leaders in our country. But before we start our meeting, I to mention this because, to be honest, I was in love with everything that was happening around me. Everyone who was supporting and being present in the light of the chaos was helping as much as they can. So thank you all for being the great, amazing leaders that you are. And we want you to be always great leaders because we need you. So let us just start this meeting. And today, I won't be leading this meeting. We have a great Toastmasters who is my cousin from another uncle. Our Toastmasters for today.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, good evening and welcome to a special Toastmasters meeting. My name is Brahim Nasser and today I will be your Toastmaster for the evening. And to be honest, there was no way I could properly prepare for today. Today is the first day we come back to our meetings since August the 4th. And I want to be real here. I want to speak from the heart a little bit. The enormity of what happened cannot be overstated. Hundreds dead, thousands injured, hundreds of thousands displaced with no more homes or no more businesses, and an immense amount of physical and mental suffering. Add to that the COVID-19 crisis we're currently in as a country. Add to that the current economic crisis that we are facing. And I would not be surprised if most normal human beings just break under all this pressure. Because at the end of the day, it's only normal that you break. But it is also only normal that you get back up again. Because that need at this very moment. And what you also need are people who are willing, able, and ready to help you get back up. So it is in that vein that we as a Toastmasters group, as a club, and me personally, we decided that, it's about time that the show goes on. Because Toastmasters, at least for me, always been a place for me to come in, to unload, express myself, and to help myself improve my own mental health. And speaking of mental health, our topic will be focused on that. As I previously stated, we are not feeling good. 3 weeks, we still aren't feeling good, but it is only together that we are going to be able to get through this. And it is through managing ourselves that we can start our road back to self-expression and to proper leadership, the kind of leadership that our president said our club and our country always needs. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I am not going to do this alone by any means. I have a couple of great toasties who are going to assist me on this meeting. And I will begin by calling on the grammarian Kamal Kassab to tell us more about his role. Mr. Kamal, welcome onto the stage.
Okay, can you all hear me, guys? All right, great. So, fellow Toastmasters, esteemed guests, good evening. It's been a little over a year since we held our first Mercury meeting. During the course of the past 12 months, the club has blossomed despite the hurdles that the year 2020 threw on the world. Dealing with the challenges has been one of the success stories of Mercury. One ingredient to overcoming the challenges is successful communication. An ingredient of successful communication is the use of proper grammar. As your grammarian for today, I will pay attention to the use of good grammar as well as the incorrect grammar. I will note the use of outstanding words and quotes spoken, as well as the use of dirty language. I will now introduce to you the word of the day. I will share my screen. So, can you guys all see today's word of the day? And in keeping with the spirit of Mercury, in Greek mythology, I chose the word Herculean. Herculean means, and this time I chose an adjective, unlike normally when I use verbs, a job or a task or an activity that requires a huge amount of effort, energy, or physical strength. For example, after being appointed as Apple CEO in 1997, Steve Jobs succeeded in the Herculean task of reviving the company that was on the brink of bankruptcy to a profitable one in less than 1 year. I encourage all the speakers to use the word of the day. In times like this, we will all be doing a Herculean effort to survive this 2020 year. I will count the number of times the word of the day is used and will include it in my report towards the end of the meeting. Back to you, TM Toastmaster Ibrahim.
Thank you so much, Kamal, for explaining to us what the grammarian does and telling us about the word of the day, of course. I would now like to call upon our timer, Tamara.
Ladies and gentlemen, they say time heals all wounds. Time changes everything. But does it? At least that's what they say. But to me, it's not true. Time doesn't just simply change anything. One can't just sit and wait for something to happen. Doing things changes things. You are responsible of taking a step that would turn your world upside down. You are the master of time. But sometimes you might need a helping hand. And that's why I will be your timer tonight. I will start by timing our speakers, Khaled and Haidar, our speakers for tonight. Each one of you has 5 to 7 minutes to complete their speeches. I will raise the green copybook at 5 minutes, the yellow copybook at 6 minutes, and the red copybook at 7 minutes. I will be back before each section to remind you of the relevant rules. Please make sure to pin me before you speak. And remember that everyone has 13 seconds grace to wrap up and complete their speech. Good luck.
Thank you so much, Tamara, for telling us the timing rules for our speakers. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, dealing with your mental health after all what we've been through is going to be a Herculean task. But we are here, and this meeting is going to be about really just how you can deal with all of that, how you can take care of yourself. And so the first following a routine is overwhelming, right? We always follow routines at work, come back home, and like gets boring, doesn't it? But in times like these, routines can actually help sanity and stability. You see, everything around us is just so unstable. Something to keep us grounded, to keep us, on track, so like we know what we're doing. And I'm not saying follow a routine religiously, and don't and beat yourself all it. No, I'm just saying try to have a sense of structure that allows you to focus on what's directly ahead of you rather than on all those dark thoughts coming in your head about coronavirus and the public health, about the explosion, what's going to happen, all that survivor's guilt. No, it's a lot on the mind, and our mind likes to play around with us. So having a clear-cut schedule helps you stay grounded. And here at Toastmasters, at Mercury, we have a routine. And the first part of our routine when we have our meetings is our prepared speeches. The prepared speeches are where our speakers, our members, are going to come up and they're going to share with us their stories. They're going to have all the stage for them to come and express themselves in the absolute best way possible. And what better than to begin by expressing ourselves freely and fully. Before I go ahead and call our first speaker, I would like to call his evaluator, our president, Soraya Nasser.
Thank you, Ibrahim. So today, Khalid will be delivering his third speech from his path. The objective of the third speech is to learn or review basic research methods and present a well-organized, well-researched speech on any topic. So basically, he has to research a topic and present it to us. Best of luck, Khalid. I'm looking forward to hearing your speech. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Soraya. And without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Khalid Shatila, speech title, The Rock. The Rock, Khalid Shatila.
What emotional trauma is cooking? Yes, my friends, my fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests, you heard that right. Unfortunately, that was the first time I unironically used The Rock's intro, like I usually do. As the title said, what emotional trauma is cooking? Well, ammonium nitrate was cooking for more than 6 years. That's what I'm gonna say. Ladies and gentlemen, on the 4th of August, 300 people died. And on the 4th of August, more than 30,000 homes were lost. And on the 4th of August, more than 442 kilometers of pure Lebanese soil died with it. This speech, as much as I wanted to do a happy speech, as much as I wanted to joke around with my research, as much as I wanted to be a Khalid in my speeches, unfortunately, even the government took that from me as well. Well, it's titled The Rock. Why? Because we are rocks for ourselves. If not us, then we definitely know rocks in our lives. What is emotional trauma? And how do we deal with it? What are the signs? How do we understand that we are facing something that is called emotional trauma? Well, it's quite simple. When you experience something that is extremely negative, something that would actually shatter your soul, something that would actually scar you for a whole while, you can heal, but most people heal. But there's a huge chunk of people that don't. Emotional trauma, as Michael Talbot Kelly, a professional psychiatrist, identifies it, is when a huge negative experience occurs to a human body. It can vary through 12 levels, from 1 to 12. I need more fingers. From 1 to 12, and 12 being the highest. It is safe to say that we, the Lebanese people, we encountered a level 14 emotional trauma. Yes, even with that, we broke scores. Not just the tabbouleh. The emotions that you may experience and you may feel overwhelmed by are anxiety, guilt, shame, remorse, sadness, fear, mood swings, anger, anguish, irritation, uneasiness, confusion, hopelessness, disconnection, and by the words of our favorite artist, Chester B, numb. These are only a small part of the emotions that we might face when we are traumatic emotionally. Yet that's not enough. That is not enough. Human beings are like a cup of water. As much as you fill them up, they will overflow. Yet these things that flowed out will flow back in. Other stuff. Emotional trauma doesn't always have to be psychiatric. It can also be physical. You can be fatigued. You can be tired all the time. Ever heard someone says I'm tired, constantly tired, the T word? There's a person that I really like called Patrick Bet-David. This person considers the T word, the word tired, as the dream crusher. And we Lebanese people, we don't just have our dreams crushed. We have our spirits and souls crushed as well. Fatigue, irritation, edginess, agitation, the constant fear of despair, insomnia, the lack of sleep. You can't even run away from your problems by sleeping. Even if you do sleep, you will be followed by nightmares. Or some people, they oversleep more than 12 hours per day. These are the feelings, the signs that you may acquire while having emotional trauma. These are the physical and the psychological signs of emotional trauma. Yet, as much as they don't seem like the right emotions to have, they certainly are the proper emotions to have. In the end, just like a computer, the input is like the output. We input trauma, we output negative feelings. That's the only natural way to explain it. It doesn't have to be wrong. It doesn't have to be bad. You know, it's okay not to be okay. Because why? Because we will have coping mechanisms. Things that we do in order to survive, in order to push ourselves for one more hour of working, to push ourselves for one more shovel to pick up, to push ourselves to do more. Coping mechanisms. Coping mechanisms. Everyone has their own way to cope. It can be by crying. It can be by taking a long shower. It can be by ranting on Instagram all night. Yeah, I'm guilty of that. I don't rant on Instagram, but I do rant on my friends. According to help.org and my personal opinions, there are certain ways to take in order to make sure that we are on the right track of emotional healing. Number one, you, my friend, need to identify the emotion that you are facing. What are you? Are you feeling angry, lonely, scared? Why? What's the whole reason why are you feeling that way? These are only the bits of emotions that you might feel. Identify what you're feeling. Is there any way you can help yourself by feeling that way? The second way to cope with the emotional trauma is by getting busy, is by doing things, is by doing whatever you could do to cope. You may go to sleep, you may overeat, you're totally allowed to break your diet, you're totally allowed to over-exercise at the gym or to under-exercise by not going at all. You can play video games, you can read a good book. These are all things that can help you deal with emotional trauma. 3, you need to volunteer. Have you ever seen a sad volunteer? I've been a scout for 8 years, and not to brag, but I helped in gymnasium. Yes, I was sad, I was heartbroken. But have you ever seen a volunteer that have lost a smile? You need to give Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, once said that you will never achieve righteousness until you give from what you love to give. It may be your time, your energy, your efforts. Yes, I am pulling a Bob Nasser. I see you, Tamara, and I'm going to keep talking. We are fragile human beings, and we are divided into physical aspects, emotion, spiritual, and physical aspects. Our emotional aspects takes the whole toll, because it's the only thing that keeps us together. It's the altico to a brick wall. Now, to me, I'm gonna repeat it one more time. It's okay not to feel okay. It's okay not to be okay. It's not okay. It's okay to not be okay for a very long time. And you know what's not okay? What's not okay is staying not okay while you have the means, even if you don't, by actually searching and looking up for the means to help yourself cope and survive. We are all broken. We are all shattered. We all lived through the 4th of August. I don't think that anyone has a time machine. It's fine. But is it really? Go do something to actually make it matter. Go help yourself. Because in the end, we, the Lebanese people, are the only people who will help ourselves. Happiness is a difficult choice to make. But we have to. Because in the end, if we don't, no one will take this choice upon us. Madam Toast, Mr. Toastmaster. تعودت على مادام توستماستر صراحة.
Thank you so much, Khalid, for an absolutely beautiful speech. My only comment, if I could ever have one, is though you've proven yourself a worthy people's champion, you're not quite as electrifying as the real deal, man. But other than that, beautiful speech, beautiful speech. Now let's move on to our second speaker, but before we do that, let us introduce his evaluator. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mary Jo Shaheen as she tells us more about our next speaker and his speech. Mary Jo.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome, Haidar, to Mercury. We're so glad to see you giving a speech there. So Haidar is a fellow member from Speakers and Leaders, and he's coming here to give a speech with the objective to connect with your audience. So his objective is mainly to connect with an audience he's unfamiliar with. So he's coming to Mercury, a club with whom he's not too familiar, and he's going to give a speech, and he has to connect with us. And as a note, he's also giving this speech as a project from level 2 of the humorous path. So I'm expecting to laugh tonight. I'm expecting it to be humorous. So best of luck, Haidar, and I will be back at the end to give you my report. Good luck.
Thank you so much, Mary Jo. As she said, we are going to be hearing a humorous speech. And well, humor is actually one of the best ways for anyone to from all that bad energy that's surrounding them. So, ladies and gentlemen, Haidar Faqih and his speech titled Groundbreaking Discovery. Discovery host.
Thank you for welcoming me, Ibrahim. Now, just a small thing. I just wanted to make sure that you guys can hear my computer sound since it's essential for this speech. So I'm just going to play a small message, and please tell me if you can hear it, and then I'll proceed. And thanks a lot for the Herculean effort. Can you hear the message? All right, thanks a lot. We humans constantly learn and improve. We always seek out new forms of knowledge that can be used to better our societies. It all started way back with the cavemen when they first discovered fire, and it continues to this day. humans constantly seek out ways to expand their horizons, to reach limits that they never thought were possible to reach. But even with all of today's technology, there is still one question that we did not answer yet. A question that might change the history of mankind as we know it. And that question is,
is mayonnaise an instrument?
now most
No,
of you
Patrick,
probably watched the
mayonnaise
scene
is
and
not
thought
an
to
instrument.
yourselves, mayonnaise, can mayonnaise be considered an instrument? Now, you probably did not give this another thought, and I don't really blame you, since the question is coming from the exact same character that's known for...
That's crazy talk!
That's not crazy talk. This is crazy talk.
Was actually onto something. What if I told you that Patrick might have just redefined the genre of music? You would call me crazy, and I can kind of understand. But throughout the speech, you will see the light. You will understand why Beethoven should have not perfected the piano, but instead the mayonnaise, a much cooler instrument. If you look up the word instrument in any dictionary, you get the following definitions. A thing by which something is done. Have you ever thought to ourselves, what can we do with mayonnaise? Kareem, have you ever thought to yourself, what can you do with mayonnaise? Please unmute yourself and tell me what you do with mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise, Well, I would probably just use mayonnaise as a weapon to get it off with all the insects ravaging my place. But actually, that would be a bad idea because I'm not exactly sure if mayonnaise would end up attracting more insects and cockroaches in specific. I'd like to try. So yeah, there's that.
Kareem, a weapon. Do you honestly think that's all you can do with mayonnaise? Do you really think that's it? What if I told you that you can use mayonnaise to moisturize your skin, remove the gum stuck from your hair, and even shine your stainless steel? A tool or implement used for delicate work or for scientific purposes. You're probably all wondering, what does mayonnaise have to do with art? Well, I don't blame you for not knowing this, because no one should know this. But mayonnaise can actually be used to remove crayons off of wall, helping an artist make his final touches, or remove any mistakes he might have committed, helping him perfect his craft. This hidden ability of mayonnaise makes it essential for every artist to carry a mayo jar around. The third definition, a device used to measure conditions. Now you're probably thinking to yourselves, what can you measure with mayonnaise? Exactly, nothing. And by nothing, I mean temperature. See, if you look at this jar of mayonnaise, this is a completely normal jar of mayonnaise. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a spoiled jar of mayonnaise. Now, how do you use that to measure conditions? That's a huge discovery that I made myself. See, if you leave a jar of mayonnaise outside, the longer it takes to spoil, the less temperature there is, meaning that in cold weather, mayonnaise takes actually a long time to spoil. So throw out your thermometer and tell your mom to buy a jar of mayonnaise. I promise you I'm not sponsored. I can assure you that. Now I can look at all of you and I can see one question in your eyes. I can feel it. Haidar, this is not what we want. Haidar, can you prove to us that mayonnaise is a musical instrument? And ladies and gentlemen, to be very honest with all of you, this is the reason I'm giving this speech, this random video that I found at 2 a.m. Mayonnaise does not belong to any family of instruments. It belongs to the percussion family, a family that produces sound by either hitting, scratching, or shaking the surface. Examples and things that we use a lot in Toastmasters include the drum roll, the tambourine, the triangle, and last but not least, the newest addition after my speech, and I promise I'm not sponsored again, the mayonnaise. We've learned a lot today. We've learned that artists need to carry mayo jars around. We've learned that mayonnaise produces the best music. But there's one thing I want you to learn. I want you to know that if I was able to prove to you that mayonnaise is an instrument, which come on, I did, you can accomplish anything you set your mind to. Do not let that Squidward in your life tell you what you can or cannot do. And instead, the next time someone asks you, is mayonnaise an instrument? Tell him yes. Mayonnaise is an instrument. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mr. Haider. I will now submit my application to join the cult that is mayonnaise as an instrument. Ladies and gentlemen, please go ahead and evaluate our speakers. There should be a link sent. Yes, our president has sent the link on the chat for you guys to go ahead and choose who was the best speaker as well as evaluate both speakers. I will give you 1 minute for you guys to go ahead and do so.
Sorry to interrupt, but were the speeches on time?
Please note that Khalid isn't eligible for voting, whereas Haidar is. So make sure you take this into consideration when you're choosing your favorite speaker.
Just vote for Haider.
Sorry, Khalid.
Well, now that we know our favorite speaker is, let's let the guys evaluate.
So the minute is over, but I don't know if you want to give.
We'll give them a little bit more time.
Okay.
I know I will not be getting your votes, but I do want your evaluation.
And we're done. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's go back talking about mental health, specifically how we can improve it. And one of the most potent ways for us to improve our state of mind is to not spend time alone. You see, when you're alone with your thoughts, by default, you're not alone, actually. You're with your thoughts. And the thing about thoughts is that when they're bad and you're alone, they're all you have. So you're with really, really bad company. When in a disaster state like we are in, our thoughts tend to be negative thoughts, our thoughts tend to be disastrous thoughts, and being alone with them sucks. So as you're doing something and distracting yourself, the best way to deal with those thoughts is to hang out with someone, preferably someone you love. It could be your family, it could be your friends, it could be that random crush you never seem to ask out on because you're too insecure to make that first move. Make the first move, everyone. But it doesn't matter. As long as you're not alone, whether you're empathizing with other people, whether you're distracting each other with some fun and games, it really doesn't matter. As long as those thoughts in your head are not playing and are not the only thoughts you're hearing. And one of the best ways to spend time with people you love is to spend time asking and answering table topics questions, which is what we will be doing here at Mercury next. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our table topics master, Karim Kahali. Karim Kahali, our table topics master.
Yay! Hello, everyone. How you doing? Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster Ibrahim. I didn't fall into the same mistake this time, so I'm safe. Table topics. Welcome, everyone. I'm going to start off with a short story. So actually, a few weeks ago, we had this business meeting at work, and our regional CEO came in. And this guy is a man of knowledge and wisdom. You would just drown listening to his great thoughts and concepts. And at that time, it was also COVID-19. That was the talk of the hour. And I thought to myself, maybe I could ask an interesting question. So I went up and I asked Fadi. Fadi, what do you think is the most valuable lesson to learn in times like these? Fadi thought for a moment. He looked up, contemplating his answer. And in a minute, he stood up again, and he said, the lesson to be learned here is, and he stopped, but resumed. Well, now that I think about it, give me a few weeks to prepare a speech on that. Okay, he did not actually say that. But can you imagine if he did? It would have been preposterous. I mean, I want the lesson now, here and now, and not later. Now, this is what makes table topics so great. Table topics help us think on our feet, right in the moment. Because I think we all agree in life, we get to speak extemporaneously more than doing prepared speeches. And that is what we're going to do for tonight. Now of course, we're going to have to stick to some timing rules. So Tamara, could you please inform us of the timing rules for table topic speakers, please?
Of course, Karim. So the rules for the table topics are as follows. Our guests have 30 seconds to finish a talk. Let me restart. You have between 30 seconds and 2 minutes to complete your speech. For the guests, I will raise the green copybook at 30 seconds. As for the members, I will raise it at 1 minute. However, both guests and members, for both guests and members, I will raise the yellow copybook at 1 minute 30 seconds and the red copybook at 2 minutes. Good luck, everyone.
Lovely, thank you, Tamara. And guys, make sure to pin the timers if you're eligible. Also, make sure to use the word of the day for some special treats, sponsored by Kamad Kasab. Now, let us get it over with the witty and funny questions that are awaiting you. I've put in Herculean effort to make them stand out. I hope you do enjoy them. All right. So, who is going to be our first speaker? All right. How about we welcome Joey? Joey, can you come up stage, please?
Yes,
Hello.
Karim, I'm here. Hi,
All
Karim.
right. Let me share my screen. One moment. Okay, can you guys see my screen? Joey, can you see it? believe it should be working. The first slide. Oh, you're muted. Oops. Okay.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
All right. So the company you work for has launched 3 DIY, which means do-it-yourself face masks. Now you gotta pick one face mask out of the tray and promote them to the market. So you got number 1 with Vaseline bottle. That's the nickname. Then there's Tiny Tang. Then there's the Odd Orange. You gotta pick one, and you gotta market it. Hit it up. All right, let me stop.
Okay. Can you keep your screen shared just so I can see the features of your?
Yeah, sure. I can keep it if you want. One moment.
Just to keep the features, you know.
That's fine. You want me to keep it?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'm just gonna mute myself and keep on screen sharing then. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm gonna take the odd orange. Just let me pin Tamara. Give me a second, guys, because I'm having a hard time to find Tamara on my screen. Okay, where is Tamara? Okay, Tamara, وينك? Okay, right, done. Done. Okay. I'm gonna start. So I'm gonna take the odd orange. Wait. Okay, fine. So, ladies and gentlemen, in time of COVID-19, we have to take safety measurements, as you know. And the face mask is one of the best safety measurements. But cliche face mask is not really cool, you know? Like when you sweat and like it starts to smell really bad. So why not a face mask orange? You know, it smells really good. And you can smell the orange, and even if you're thirsty, you can like drink the juice from it. You know, like it's very, very useful in a way. And more than that, in addition to that, like it's eco-friendly. It's better. We don't use much like products, and so that's it. For the odd orange mask, just for Karim.
Thank you, Allah, for this great message. So, odd orange it is, environmental answer. That was great. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing for a bit so I can see the gallery. Whom are we going to pick for question number 2? All right, looks like Mariam Hamad is quite excited for this one. Mariam, could you please go up on stage? And here we go. I think you're unmuted. Can you hear us? All right.
Yes, I can.
So let me share my screen again. This is 2. And all right, can you see it? So working from home has become the new trend during quarantine. Would you also promote it post-COVID-19 as well? So would you also support working from home after quarantine? Oh, you're on, let me unmute you again. All right, was it clear?
All right, let me think.
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing. All right.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Waking up at 12, having breakfast in bed while being in a work call. That's the life we had to adapt to in COVID-19. Sleeping whenever we want, eating whenever we want, and doing whatever we want, but we need to get the job done. That's how our world became in COVID-19. You don't have specific hours anymore to work. You can have a sandwich while talking. You can do whatever you want to while working. So, do I want the life to continue as it is now and after COVID-19? Maybe. I'm a person, when I want to do any job, he likes to do it professionally. So maybe me as a person, because I also don't like sleep a lot, I would prefer to go back to the traditional way, but to all the people who like sleeping, who like eating, and like to do their job in their own timeline, they would love this lifestyle. So are you a person who like to sleep, eat, and work whenever you want? If yes, COVID-19 style is the style for you. So go forward with it and adapt to this new lifestyle. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mariam. So Mariam is actually up for both. I mean, she expects both. That's quite great. I feel like there's no true answer, true right answer for this question. Okay, let's see. Speaker 3. How about we call Sarah Mortada? Are you up for the task? No? Yes? Okay, let's go. Screen sharing in a moment. And we've got number 3. Sarah Mortada, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so what are you looking forward to do the most once COVID-19 restrictions are lifted? So once quarantine ends, what's the thing you're most excited to do?
Yeah. So let me find some idea first.
Yep, I'm going to stop sharing.
Okay.
So what are you excited to do the most once quarantine ends?
Okay. Let me think. Well, I think I will buy a ticket to anywhere in this planet and go and go there, and maybe start traveling between countries without any plan. That's what I wish to do, and what I'm really starving to do. But unfortunately, I remember that we are in a very bad economical situation, and I will be more responsible and maybe book an inside Lebanon trip. Maybe we'll go for some hikings with many people, and stay with new friends, doing picnic and some activities. So I think I will do some adventures, because we are very tired, and staying at home is really stressful, as Khaled described. So that's what I will do, and I hope everything will be better soon, so we can have our dreams and plan our life as before. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. It would actually be great to go back to normal life and go out and travel and just do whatever we really want to do. Thank you. Now, let's see who we got. How about we call Mariam Brahim? Mariam Brahim, can you hear us?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, let me screen share. So, oops, I've skipped one question. All right, here we go. Can you see the slide?
Yes.
Okay, so how would you improve the online educational system amidst COVID-19, during COVID-19? And here's a meme about like how tragic the education system is online, at least. Would you like me to repeat the question?
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you think you can make the education system better, like online, during COVID-19, during quarantine, since you cannot actually attend school or university? What do you think you can make something better or change just to make it more appealing or more fun or more interactive for students?
Okay. Okay, I want to think about it. Just one
Take
second.
your time. Take your time.
Okay, I will pin the timer tomorrow. Okay. So, do you hear me? Good evening, everyone. So for me, do you hear me? Okay. Okay, good evening, everyone. For me, I'm not taking any courses this year, but I'm working from home, and I think it's quite, they resemble each other. The two situations resemble each other. So I think one way that encouraged me to work from home or to attend the classes is to have an online meeting, maybe weekly, to take feedback on the lectures that have been done during the week, and to know what I like the most and what I didn't like. So I think this interaction is much needed online, because I feel sometimes that since I'm working from home since March, I feel that sometimes I lose the motivation, and then when I receive a call from my manager or a Zoom meeting with her, so I feel energized again and again. So I feel that this is what we need to keep to motivate the online courses. So need to keep talking about what have done during the week or during the month. Thank you.
Thank you for your answer, Mariam. So Mariam thinks that we need to be very interactive online. Was it education or work, doing Zoom calls? We need more communication, more socializing. Thank you, Mariam. All right. Let's see who we got. So, Haidar Faqir.
Yes, Karim.
Hello, Haidar. Can you hear me?
I can.
Perfect. All right, one moment. So, question number 5. What are some habits that you have picked up during the COVID-19 confinement, during the quarantine? What are some habits you have included in your daily routine?
After hearing me give a speech about mayonnaise, you're probably gonna think, Haidar probably learned how to binge eat. Haidar learned how to eat more. Well, if that's what you're thinking, I'm kind of sad to disappoint you all. Actually, this time of self-isolation helped me a lot to reflect on myself and how bad my habits were during my previous lifestyle. See, because of how busy we were during our previous lifestyle, I had to constantly run from university to home and then to home from university. I actually never had time to listen to myself, listen to what my body wants, and to actually pay attention to my health. Now, 4 months ago, I was actually overweight. And one day I decided to actually start losing weight. I decided that there was something that needs to be done. Now, of course, I had made this decision years prior, and this is why it's such a huge accomplishment to me. Because up until now, this was actually the 5th time that I've tried to lose weight. And constantly, I would always lose the battle because of guilt. I always felt guilty of my body. But after COVID, I've actually had time to self-reflect. I've looked at my body, I appreciated my mistakes, and I learned to accept them. And that was not the only thing I did. I learned about this interesting thing called intermittent fasting, where you actually fast from 12 or like whatever time you pick, you fast for 16 hours, and then you only eat for 8 hours. And thankfully, this was the best thing that I've ever discovered, because pre-COVID, I was 120 kilograms and I was actually constantly tired with blood pressure. And now I am glad to say that I am down to 90 kilograms and I'm healthier than ever. Thank you, everyone.
Wow, that's a great story, Haidar. Honestly, great Herculean effort you spent during the confinement. I truly think you should be proud, and yeah, you're definitely a role model for everyone. Okay, so let me check my list. Any of the guests would like to participate in table topics? Some more fun, interactive questions. You could just raise your hand or just use Brahim, SOS. Okay.
In a long time since I've done table topics, man, so like, I had to do it.
Okay, dude, let's go. Let me hit you with a nice question of your liking. One moment, and here we go. So, Brahim, tell us about one funny online Zoom meeting encounter that happened during quarantine.
I had a funny Zoom meeting encounter.
Yeah, just tell us about that funny experience, whatever it was, embarrassing, nice, funny, scary. Just go ahead, just hit it up.
All right. So yeah, heads up to the random birdie who just gave me an idea, by the way, wink wink. So once upon a time, in a day just like these days, in a time where COVID has taken over our lands, I was sitting across the screen from a Toastmasters meeting, a Mercury Toastmasters meeting, might I add. And our Sergeant at Arms for that day was none other than our first speaker tonight, Khalid. And so Khalid decided that, well, he wanted to tell us about the rules of the meeting, i.e., you know, the whole big block of no politics, no sex, no swear words, no religion. You hear that, Brahim Nasir? Well, I heard that loud and clear. What I also heard was right in the middle of the meeting, a huge S word, a bottle of brown stuff came out of his mouth, and followed by many F words that also came out of his mouth. And so our good friend Khalid, the Sergeant at Arms, the supposed role model for everyone who is new here, ended up dropping the words he was supposed to avoid at all costs. And well, we're still making fun of him today. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
I don't even know what to reply to this. I think I'm just gonna laugh because that's just typical Khalid. You guys will get used to him slowly but surely. Okay. So anyone else would like to participate? Come on, guys. It's all nice and fun. Khalid Shetila wants to participate. Okay, should I let him in, Brian?
Yeah. Let's see if he's gonna hit back or not.
Okay. All right. Hello, Mr. Khalid Shetila. Can you hear me well?
Jealousy is like a bottle of worms. It eats you from the inside.
Okay, let's share screen. So, question number 7. what do you recommend to be the best punishment for not wearing a mask or maintaining social distancing in public? So here, a common scene, I think you all Lord of the Rings fans. So never thought I'd die fighting side by side with a elf. What about 1.6 meters apart with a friend? Aye, that would be irresponsible. All right, you got your daily dose of Lord of the Rings.
You remember when the Brits decided to gather up all the prisoners that they had and they dumped them into Australia? Do you remember that when that happened? I'm not sure which year. Well, unfortunately, we do live with a bunch of prisoners, excuse me, a bunch of Karens and anti-vaxxers. These people are just became in a new trend. They decided to become anti-maskers. Yes, they were trying to listen to 50 Cent's album The Massacre, but they ended up massacring us with their anti-masking agenda. So, if it were up to me, okay, who am I gonna lie to? I don't usually wear my mask in public, even though I should, but it makes my beard look bad, and I'm asthmatic. But I should wear the mask. Such a dilemma, does it? But the thing is, whenever I see a cop, I just pull the mask up. Here in Lebanon, we're not really afraid of COVID. The people who passed by Tariq al-Matar know that COVID is nothing in Lebanon. I live in Aramoun. I pass by Tariq al-Matar daily. Daily. Yes, shame on me. Yep, 50,000. When you decide to pay 50,000 while you make nothing, that's a bit too much. So what I say is just pile us all up and throw us in Australia, because trust me, Australia is a good place to go right now. Thank you.
Amazing answer, Khalid Kathira, coming up with revolutionary solutions to our 21st century third world problems. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, now we're gonna call our timer tomorrow. I'm not sure if anyone could do a timer since she wants to come up and have a go.
Karim, but Abdulrahman has raised his hand.
Oh,
So,
did he? Oh, sorry, I
yes.
did not. Oh, my bad. Then I'm
It's
sorry,
okay.
tomorrow. You can call me later. Okay, but Abdulrahman, where are you? Can't see you. Oh, here we go. Abdulrahman, I really apologize for the inconvenience. Can you hear me?
No, that's okay. Yeah, I can hear you. I mean, I don't blame you for not paying attention to what I was raising my hand, because the conversation you and Ibrahim and Khalid were having was way too consumed. Even I forgot to raise my hand back then. So, yeah,
Oh, we got you. And next time, just make sure to spam me privately. Anyway. Okay, so we've got a serious question for you, actually. Let me share my screen real quick. So, Abdulrahman, the COVID-19 global pandemic taught us to never take things for granted. What is that one thing you miss doing most during confinement, apart from gaming?
So the question is, what I miss most during confinement, as in now that the quarantine is over and we're back to our normal lives?
Let me share screen again. Here we go. So the thing is, about COVID-19, it taught us to not take things for granted. Like the things we used to do before COVID-19, was it walking your dog, just enjoying the Starbucks coffee. So what's that one thing you miss doing the most? from those activities you could do outside quarantine? Did you,
yes. Oh, okay.
Got it?
Yeah, I
okay.
get it, yeah.
Sure. All right, take your time.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We can.
Sorry, I disconnected because the connection back at home is like, the connection that I have in my room is like that word Khalid once used that Ibrahim addressed in his.
That's okay. That's fine. We understand.
Okay. Anyway, we're over again. Okay, let me just find the timer. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Good evening, everyone. As I was saying before, Karim, you kind of already answered that question that you asked me now, but allow me to like rephrase the answer. Yes, I am a gamer and I love the game a lot. But the thing is that during confinement, you know, my mom used to always tell me something, and I'll say it in Arabic because it's usually said that way. أنت دايما عكس السير. As in, everything I do is always opposite to what people do, or at the exact opposite time to what people should be doing it. So the thing was, I was job hunting the whole time, ever since I finished my BS study.
I'm not sure if Abdurrahman got disconnected again. Abdurrahman, can you hear us? Test. I think Abdurrahman just went on oh, he's back. All right, Abdurrahman, hit us up. We can hear you.
Okay, I'm just gonna make this concise. So I'm a gamer, and everything that happens in my life happens opposite to what people have been doing. So during quarantine, I actually found a job. Yeah, I mean, look at that. All the people have lost their jobs, whether it was during the revolution or during the quarantine, and I got a job. So I'm actually gonna like answer your question with an anti-answer by saying that during my work, while people are being quarantined, I missed gaming. During the quarantine, when I was back at home, I was gaming a lot, and hey, I mean, I could sit at home, play my games, and none of my parents would be like, son, come on, you need to go outside and meet some people. I'm like, hey, I'm already doing it. Open a Zoom meeting any second, and yeah, hey, I'm social, I'm not in, and I'm gaming. Hey, no one's talking and saying anything to me. Or 2 months, 2.5. During this, I was actually, I took things for granted. I could be sitting at home and playing me some Counter-Strike here in my car, touring all the pharmacies in Beirut, telling them, hello, would you like to buy masks and gloves from us? Our company prices. When I could simply be shooting terrorists in the head and freeing some hostages. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time.
As an ex-gamer, I do feel you there, Abdurrahman. Just congrats on the job, though. Keep it up. Anyways, guys, I do believe this is
Thanks.
where things have to end. Just, you guys have been amazing. A round of applause real quick for Joey, Mariam Muhammad, Sarah Murtada, Mariam Ibrahim, Adi Haider, Ibrahim, Khalid, and Abdul Rahman. You guys were, that was really big time. Anyways, now I'd like to call our timer tomorrow, just so we know if everyone is eligible for voting.
Well, surprisingly, tonight everyone is eligible for voting, so congratulations, guys.
Wow, wow, Herculean effort, guys, truly. I'm gonna get those biscuits, right? Come on. Anyways, I believe we are going to vote for the best table topic speaker. I'm not sure if we did it. I think I did see the link in chat. I'm not sure if anyone can confirm.
Suraya has resent the link.
Okay, so 1 minute for voting, guys. Please vote for your favorite table topic speaker of the night. I'm not sure if our minute is up. Almost.
No, not yet. We still
Not yet.
have 25 seconds.
Yay.
Okay, so time is up.
Thank you, Tamara, and thank you, everyone. I hope you have enjoyed tonight's table topic session. Make sure to drop me some feedback, though. I'd like to hear it from you, what you think. And now I have to kick it back to Mr. Brahim Nasser, dear Toastmaster. I give the stage back to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Karim, for a beautiful table topic session. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm sure everyone else in this meeting has. Now, let's get into the final stretch of this meeting, and we'll get into it with another one of my mental health tips and tricks, which is to take some time to process. And yes, I know I just told you again and again, don't spend time alone. And it's true, you don't want to spend time alone with your thoughts when they're negative. But when your head is clear enough, when you feel you're capable of doing so, take some time for yourself and let yourself process your emotions. Understand what's going on. What are you feeling from that vast spectrum of emotions that Khalid Shetila told us about? How do you feel you can cope? Whether or not you may need some psychological or even psychiatric help. You know, these questions need to be answered at some point, and it's okay if you need help. And it's okay if you don't. But you've got to know where you stand and evaluate where your mental state is at, especially after a traumatic state of affairs. And just like your mental health needs constant evaluation and improvement, your speeches need constant evaluation and improvement. And we here at Toastmasters provide that service in abundance. You see, the upcoming session is the evaluation session. And leading it will not be me, but rather our general evaluator for the evening, Diana Motter. Ladies and gentlemen, Diana Motter.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay, so it has been a great meeting. Thank you everyone for all your efforts. I will start first with the evaluation of our first speaker, Suraya Nasir, evaluating Khalid Shatila. So please help me welcome Suraya on screen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and good evening, Khalid. Congratulations on delivering your third speech for you and Toastmasters. Let me be very brief and let me start my evaluation straight to the point. I will be dividing my evaluation into content and delivery. So let's start with the content. First of all, you started with the speech with the rock song. And to be honest, I was surprised, but this surprise was definitely needed. It was a good way to attract the audience and make them focused on what you have to say. You introduced what happened on Tuesday 4th by using repetition to emphasize the impact of what happened. You defined trauma and its symptoms with very descriptive words backed by a specialist. Then you comforted the audience, discussed coping mechanisms, and then ended by comforting the audience again. In terms of content, this is a very sensitive topic, and you dealt with it in a very proper way. You had a lot of humor to deal with what happened. And at some points, some other points in the speech, I could feel your anger and agony throughout. Now here, let me mention something very important. According to Aristotle, an effective speech should have a combination of logos, ethos, and pathos. Now, logos is logic, ethos is ethics, and pathos is emotions. Your speech had a lot of pathos, and I think you need to balance it out with some more logos, especially since the objective of your speech is to research your topic. Now, I would suggest something, and that is to avoid repetition in your speech. You comforted the audience twice, so what you can do is to explain more about coping with trauma in the body of your speech and end by comforting so that you end on a positive note of motivation for the audience without having to repeat yourself. Now, as per the delivery, you used your body language and your vocal variety perfectly to display several emotions throughout your speech. You started by standing and raising the mic while singing. You made us laugh in the beginning, and then your tonality changed and your gestures adapted accordingly, taking us on an emotional roller coaster to make us feel the pain that we all feel. Now, to wrap up, you have great body language and vocal variety that could help you reach out to your audience easily. But for next time, try to balance your speech with logos, ethos, and pathos, and you're good to go. Now, if you want further evaluation, I'm available after the meeting, of course, and I'm looking forward to hear more from you next time. Thank you so much for this amazing speech. I'm really excited to hear more of you and hope to talk more about it. Back to you, General Evaluator Diane.
Thank you, Suraya, for this thorough evaluation. We really learned a lot from your evaluations. So thank you so much. Now on to our next evaluation with Marijo evaluating Haidar's speech. So please help me welcome Marijo.
I can tell you something. Connecting with an unfamiliar audience is a real Herculean task. But Haidar, you achieved it perfectly. Thank you, Haidar, for giving us a speech at Mercury, and I am sure everyone is convinced now that mayonnaise can be used as an instrument. I am going to start by talking about your objectives. You surely met them today. You connected with us using an odd but original topic, asking us through a funny clip from SpongeBob, which we can almost all relate to, about how can mayonnaise be considered an instrument. We heard some mayonnaise music, and you also interacted with one of our members, Karim, to reach your point about mayonnaise. So it was an amazing job that you did to reach your objective. You surely connected with every one of us, and you intrigued us with your topic. Now, about the content, you started with your question that you displayed through a clip. About asking about the mayonnaise from SpongeBob, and you also displayed many other clips. Now I have a note of recommendation about your clips that you used. The sound could be heard well, but at least in my case, I'm not sure if everyone, there was a bit of a delay. So that when you started speaking after the clip, we still could hear the clip. So one word of advice, if you want to use this technique next time, because it's really effective, but you have to be careful, just wait a few seconds after the clip finishes on your end to make sure that everyone's, from everyone's internet connections, that it's done and you can start speaking so that it does not override your voice. Otherwise, I also really enjoyed your call to action. You convinced me not only that mayonnaise can be used as an instrument, but that I can do anything I put my mind to. So I really enjoyed the way you concluded about the call to action. It was really surprising. We did not expect it because through your entire speech, you were talking about music and mayonnaise. So I was thinking, what's the message there? Will he have a call to action? But you surely surprised us by giving us a really nice call to action. Now a bit of notes about your delivery. Of course, I could not judge your delivery as body movements properly because you were mostly using shared screen. Now, usually I would advise that you also use your body, but in this case, you were focusing on sharing your screen. Maybe you could next time, depending on your objective, vary between sharing your screen and sharing your own video. And now there's a feature you can put yourself in the presentation, so you could maybe in the future consider that also as an option from Zoom. And also, I would advise you to play a bit more with your tonality, especially at the start of the speech. Prior to you starting with the mayonnaise ads, I felt you could have put more energy in the introduction of your speech to hook us and start listening to you. But you did that after asking us the question through the clips, but I would also love for you to express it more through your voice, vary your tonality a bit in every paragraph, especially in the introduction. So in conclusion, I loved your original speech. You can work on some small technicalities and your voice tonality, but otherwise, thanks to your speech, you have made the groundbreaking discovery that I can do anything I set my mind to. So for my next speech, maybe I can convince you that face masks can also be used as an instrument. I'm not sure why, how or why, but I will figure it out. Thank you, and hope to see you more at our meetings. Back to you, Diana.
Thank you, Marijo. You always project your positive energy for us. So thank you for this great evaluation. And finally, with our final report for this session with our grammarian Kamal. So please help me welcome Kamal giving his grammarian report.
Hello, everyone. I will start the report by talking about the good use. So we have Karim Kahale, who used a couple of nice phrases. Stood up and contemplated his answer, do it yourself, slowly but surely. And also Ibrahim Nasser stated that we provide the service, which was very nice as well. With regards to the word of the day, it was used a couple of times. In total, it was used 5 times. And I thank you all for using it. Karim, Mary Jo, and Haidar, and Ibrahim Nasser for using the word of the day. With regards to the grammar, in general, the grammar today was quite good. But the one thing I noticed the most is the subject-verb agreements were mistaken. I can't, someone saying something to me, okay. For example, what emotional trauma is cooking was just not correct. It should be what an emotional trauma is. One, someone said one that have lost, one that has lost, not have, has. I enjoyed, and I am sure everyone else has. I enjoyed, and I'm sure everyone else did. To hear, there was also another mistake. To hear more of you, to hear more from you. As we also had some parallelism words that was not correct. So someone in the speech was saying we have anguish, we feel anguish, anger, guilt, and then numb. It should be numbness. We should continue in the noun. Those are the main mistakes I found. There was a lot of slang used. For example, I don't know what the word gaming is. I guess that's a new word for me. It's slang. And someone in the table topics used the word like multiple. I'm not doing the accounting, but I have to point out that like was used in one particular speech quite a lot. There were some Arabic used, but I think it was planned during the meeting, part of the speech, so I can't really comment on that. I would just like to comment on one phrase where the speaker used أنت دايما عكس السير in Arabic. You could have easily just said you go against the flow. In general, I say that the grammar today was quite good, quite impressive, and thank you all for using the word of the day and the good English. And I hand over back to you, GE, Toastmaster Diana Matar.
Thank you, Kamal. I'll be giving you my evaluation throughout my report, and I'll start with my evaluation depending on how the role takers were showing during the meeting. So first, I want to mention something about Suraya's intro, about the president introduction. So your intro was really moving. You said what we wanted to say and shared the same feelings. You were absolutely right about what you said, that we need to have faith in people, and we should always have this thing in mind that people are for the people, and always support and be with each other. So thank you so much for that. It was a really nice note to start off the meeting. And then I'm moving to Bob, our TME for tonight. Bob, your intro was really amazing and heartwarming. We felt what you were saying, and you are absolutely right that Toastmaster is really our place to share our feelings and our stories. You had a very good organizations and helpful tips that we can actually use and work on to improve our mental health. And one thing I want to say is that your personality really projects on the screen with your tone of voice and your body language. We can completely see and understand what you're feeling and saying with all your tonality and body language. So that's great. And I really loved how you handled the link between the sessions. So you did a great job today, and we hope to see you more as TME.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So next, our grammarian Kamal. Kamal, as always, your introduction was great, and you really have, I noticed that you have great control of the stage. So when you're speaking, you're really very detailed, and we can completely trust what you're saying. So that's a very good thing. And I also loved the word of the day. It was very interesting. Your report was, as always, very thorough, and I think we truly learn a lot from you. So keep it up. For our timer, Tamara. Tamara, congratulations. This is your first role for tonight. You really have an amazing natural presence on screen, and as I was writing it in my notes, I noticed that many people mentioned this in the chat. So you're really a natural, and your body language was great, and also it was like natural body language. It wasn't like staged, and I really think it's one of your strengths, the way you use your hands. So congratulations on taking your first role, and keep it up. You have great, amazing potential, and I think we can all see this. So best of luck for later as well. And keep taking roles, keep booking roles. Next, we have our final role taker, Karim, our table topics master. So Karim, I loved the light session. It was a very light session. You have also a great handling of the session. You take very good control of the whole session and of the speakers, the way you choose them. So that's something very important. And I really feel that you are improving exponentially. So you are improving in a very, very good way. And I love your contagious energy. You have a contagious energy, so also keep it up. And finally, I want to say that the meeting as a whole went really great. We started on time and ended early. I think it gave us great energy to restart our Toastmasters routine. And as many of you mentioned during the meeting, during such times, we really need each other's support. And I believe that we will always stand hand by hand to rebuild our future. And I hope we always stay like this. So thank you, everyone. And back to you, Toastmasters Bob.
Thank you so much for your thorough evaluation session, Diana. So here we are. We are almost over. We're almost done. But I have one more tip for you guys before I go ahead and end the session, return control to the president, or even show the results if I end up getting them. And that tip is never forget to love yourself. Thing is, this is something I learned from years ago, from times from where I was having my own personal trauma, you know. 7 years ago, my dad died and I learned the hard way. No one's gonna love me like I love me, you know. At the end of the day, life's fleeting. Everyone's gonna go at some point, you know, like everyone's out at some point, you know, it's the way life works. But at the end of the day, you've got you. If you're not the one who's loving yourself, if you're not giving yourself that love, if you're not being the one who's trying to keep their mental health stable, who's trying to work on making sure they're in the best state possible, you're not getting anywhere. You're giving yourself a great disservice, and you're just ensuring that your potential is crushed, limited. Don't do that to yourself. You're worth way more than that. Love yourself, please. And with that, I will now go to the results. And so our best speaker, first of all, well, obviously, since Khalid did not get his on time, our best speaker is Haidar Faqih. A round of applause for Haidar. The quietest applause I have ever heard in my life. But hey, internet meetings. I know, everyone's muted. What can we do? Now for our best evaluator, ladies and gentlemen. Best evaluator, drum rolls. Well, our president is at it again. One more ribbon for Her Majesty. And now finally, the table topics, the most exciting ribbon of them all. Oh wow, I got a ribbon at Khalid's expense. Usually I'd come up and take a picture with it and like try and act all cutesy and stuff, but hey, I'm trying a new thing where I keep myself calm and collected a little bit more. So no, I'm just gonna say thank you for your appreciation. And with that, we call this a meeting. Thank you so much for tonight. I honestly enjoyed this very thoroughly. I tried some new stuff with my tonality while also trying to stay a little bit, me, not trying to veer too much from what I know. And it was just so amazing to just see you guys again. And now I will return control back to our president and my cousin from another uncle, Suraya Nasser.
Thank you, Bob, for this amazing meeting, and thank you, Karim, thank you, Diana, thank you everyone for